it's mad to me. It's actually crazy that we've reached 1 year anniversary of Earthling coming out, because it was. I guess it's not until you actually look back at what has happened till you realize how much has changed, and also, um, yeah, it gave me a moment of pause to really be grateful for this last year that's happened, because before that, it was Earthling is my album that was like 4 years in the making. It was a love letter to the planet, but also a way of talking about climate change in a way that had an anti-colonial lens that really talked about the black and brown and POC experience of accessing nature, but also like the historical removal from nature that I felt was happening, and is coming more and more into the conversation around climate justice. But more than that, it was really a tool for this album was really a tool for people that grew up like I did, grew up in ends in different cities that really don't have that kind of luxury to have an access to nature. And I wanted to use music as a new way, because I hadn't really seen it done in a way that wasn't kind of hippy dippy to, and that's no offense to hippy dippy musicians, but there can't be just one way of talking about nature and climate change and stuff in music. And I felt like, right, we need like a climate anthem that bangs in the club, that man and gal can shock out to and have a good time to, but also makes sense and speaks our language and gets us in a place of connecting us to feeling. And I feel like above everything, above all art, and everything has its role to play. And yes, we're very visual animals, but I think we lean on that too hard. And I think actually like sound has this really unique way of tapping straight into the feeling of as humans. And I think that's where we're losing, and that's what we're missing, especially when it talks about climate change and climate justice, and also biodiversity loss, and overall our relationship to the nature we share this planet with. Because it's not something nature isn't something we share the planet with, it's something that we're part of. And I wanted to put that into music and try and get it to translate in this way of feeling, not just through listening but also live performance. And I think, judging from the year that I've had, like first time doing festivals, like not just in the UK but out in Europe, and I'm going to New York now and going to be doing a panel at the UN. It's all mad, and people now paying me to talk at different things, which is mental. Like most of my boys are like, I can't believe people are actually paying you to run your mouth off. But it's been amazing, and I'm beyond grateful. And yeah, it's a sign that you should, even if it looks like two things aren't supposed to go together that you want to do, like find a way to make that happen. And Earthling was really the seed and the beginning of that. And my nature documentary, Nature Ain't a Luxury, is coming off that, and there's so many things that have been coming off that bring me a lot of joy, but also make me feel like I'm actually doing something in the world that is needed as well. If there's one thing that people could take from listening to my album Earthling, I think just simply to be better Earthlings. We're not the only Earthlings on this planet. When people think of the word Earthling, they think humans immediately, but a tree is an Earthling, a zebra is an Earthling. That's why it was the front cover. An ant is an Earthling, a mushroom is an Earthling. Like, we are a planet of Earthlings, and everything else is working in the system to make that work. It's part of a harmony, and it's like we have slightly forgotten. It hasn't been broken. We haven't fully forgotten, but we are forgetting how to be Earthlings. And if anyone can take anything away from the album, it's how to be a better Earthling, and and follow the zebra as well, because we move together in unity much better than we move solo. There's a lot of new music to come that I'm really excited about. A lot of it, of the stuff that's already finished, is gonna be just a lot of fun, and will still feature nature elements but much more in the sounds. And then Yeah, there's a plan to make a full album using nature sounds with the amazing Martin Stewart, who is one of the best sound recordists of nature sounds. He is the David Attenborough of field recordings of nature throughout, the last 40 years or something mental. Yeah, you name the animal and he's got it. And that's saying something in the world, where we're experiencing mad biodiversity loss. So the plan is to make a whole new type of music that is really vibey using nature. Yeah, especially since I got my track out now. That is Orange Skies featuring nature officially, and that's the first ever instance of nature being an official artist now, and 50% of the proceeds, the profits from that go into climate solutions and initiatives. It's amazing. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of new music. There's going to be my documentary, Nature Ain't a Luxury, will be coming out. I am going to be, by the time this comes out, I'll probably be about to be presenting Spring Watch, which is going to be very sick. Or will have presented it, and there's going to be a lot more very cool presenting things going on as well, where I'm trying to bring a different voice and a different vibe and a different look to like how we experience nature and open it up to everyone, because I think at the end of the day, like to solve a crisis as big as the one that that involves the environment, the planet that we live on, we need everyone. And I think so far the narrative has been very Eurocentric, and we need to change that. And if I can do a little bit to help that, then we can get it good. There's one more thing I nearly forgot. I am definitely doing some music back home where my dad's side of the family is from, in Dominica in the Caribbean. I'm going to be working with some amazing artists from there and doing a whole project out there as well, using specifically sounds from there, and working with artists from there specifically as well. The truth is, I hadn't wanted to blend the two worlds, because I felt the pressure of being a musician from London, like particularly like the rapper side, even though I produce all my work, and like to think of myself as a musician and an artist in the fullest sense, because I play a few instruments on top of that. But a lot of people see me as a rapper, and I was already like, I'm already coming with like a different approach as a rapper. Then adding this nature zoology side is like, how are they gonna market a rapper that is from ends in London but knows about like Hymenoptera and social insects and stuff. Like it's one of those things that I was just like, I can't see how that's gonna be marketed. And then I guess I started getting more and more frustrated with what I was seeing happening to the natural world, as a nature geek, but also as a zoologist. So I started, speaking out on it a bit, using my platform as an artist, but not combining the two really. And then I was pulled in much more. I mean, it usually takes something to happen to you personally to really bring you in, and something that you can really relate to, and that's no exception for me. In 2017, Hurricane Maria hit Dominica, which was the same hurricane that later hit Puerto Rico. When it hit Dominica, it was Category 5 and was one of the strongest hurricanes to ever make landfall, and basically obliterated the island. And it was to do with climate change, weather. And it struck me then how unfair that was for an island that is, our population is 70,000 people. And they couldn't have contributed to climate change less if they tried. So it was really stark how, even though they've contributed little to nothing to climate change, they're on the front lines and having their lives completely flipped over on its head just in one day because of it. I'm happy to say that the nature and the people have really bounced back, and there's amazing schemes to become the first climate resilient country in the world. But that dragged me in, and I was like, nah, this is not fair. And then I realized this is actually the picture for the whole of the global south versus the west. The west has created the problem, but the global south is on the front line. And so that pulled me in, and then I got pulled in to write and present a mini documentary about getting young people of colour in London to vote based on climate change issues. And that kind of launched me into the film world of nature documentary and climate documentary filmmaking, but with like a purpose to actually create change. And I did some amazing stuff with Doc Society and got invited to Climate Lab, and that kind of launched that whole side. And then really during COVID, the one moment that happened is after those crazy years of COVID and everything just kind of crashing down and having all the time in the world to reflect. My sister just said to me, like, there's no time in life to just not be your fullest, most eccentric, geeky self. You need to combine your music and your nature, and that is your unique, like, that's your USP. I hate to use that thing, but it's only that because that is actually me. Like, there's no pretending behind it. These are the two things that I'm obsessed about and spend all my time thinking about and making and geeking out on, like. And I just thought, I'm also in a position as a person of color, as a mixed race guy from London, from ends that speaks the way I speak as well. Maybe I can bring in the diaspora that so need to be connected to the global south, and I saw a link there. And so, a couple different things were like, I need to do this. Actually, I need to give this a shot at least. I honestly didn't think it would work. I didn't think things would be happening the way they are, but yeah, it's the best thing I ever done.